So then, it looks like once again we're about to lose another great band. So hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Now, this is a discussion video. I forget what number we're on now, so I do apologise there. It says it in the title, you guys know it. I just can't say it in the video because I don't know off the top of my head. Now this is a topic which I wasn't going to discuss here on this channel because there's already been so many great videos out there online by people who I interact with, friends of mine, and just people who have far more knowledge on the music industry and this particular band than me. They've already made great videos on it. However, I made my last video back was an album review of this album here, Buckingham Nicks, which of course has Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks on, of course. Very famous for making Fleetwood Mac what they are known as today. They brought Fleetwood Mac the success that they had in the late 70s, or mid to late 70s. And when I reviewed that album, I mentioned about Lindsey Buckingham, who is now suing Fleetwood Mac. And a lot of people were asking me, hang on, what? Lindsey Buckingham suing Fleetwood Mac? What's going on? So this is a discussion video about what's been happening with Fleetwood Mac lately, for those of you who don't know. As I say, I'm sure most of you do know by now. The news is getting a little bit old now, but there are still some people out there who don't know. So I thought I'd cover it. It's an interesting topic, and you guys can get my take on it. And I'd be interested to start a discussion down in the comments here on this video to see what, my viewers think of this particular topic. So then, Fleetwood Mac. Lindsey Buckingham announced only a couple of weeks ago, it's still somewhat fresh, that he is suing the band for $12 million after he was asked to leave a few months back now. So a bit of backstory. Back when Lindsey was still in the band was gearing up for their tour. And Lindsey wanted to delay the tour by 3 months, which was the first bit which started to tilt them over. This is after the release, by the way, of this album here, which is not under the name Fleetwood Mac, but every member of Fleetwood Mac, of the core Fleetwood Mac, is here other than Stevie Nicks. You've got Lindsey and you've got Christine McVie. So that is pretty much, you've got John McVie as well, and Mick Fleetwood on drums. You've basically got Fleetwood Mac there other than Stevie Nicks. So that album was put out, boom, boom, boom. A little bit of time goes past. And yeah, they're gearing up to tour. And Lindsey has said he's working on a solo album, apparently. Whether this is this solo box set that's just come out, I don't know. I don't think it is. It does sound like it's a proper studio album that Lindsey's been working on, which excites me, because his last proper studio album, Seeds We Sow, I loved. So I'll be very excited to get another Lindsey album. Apparently, he's wanted to delay the tour 3 months just so he can finish that off, release it, and then tour. Because the tour, of course, will help promote his album. He might only do one song off the album, but nevertheless, having Lindsey back in the, the main spotlight with the rest of the band, with the rest of the guys, will encourage some people to go out there and buy his album. It will help it sell, whether he's with the band or on his own. But the band said no. They didn't want none of that. They were having none of it. So Lindsey was like, fair enough, okay, that's not going to happen. So he's put his album back a year, apparently, which is ridiculous. It might not be a year now, because clearly he's not going to be doing this tour, so he's going to have more time on his hands. But he took a huge sacrifice there, if it's true. So he's put the album back a year, which is heartbreaking for me, because I really do enjoy his solo albums. They've all been very good. Nevertheless, I would have loved to have seen Fleetwood Mac with Lindsey Buckingham, so it's a compromise, really. However, we're not getting that lineup with Fleetwood Mac, so obviously I would have rather got the solo album now. But anyway, so the tour was going ahead. Lindsey's album pushed back a year at this point, apparently. And now Lindsey finds out they're only doing 3 shows a week. Which, that's not that bad, I don't think, for these older bands. These are older guys. It takes a lot of effort and a lot of energy to do these shows. God knows how Paul McCartney does it. But most artists, these older generation, it's a lot of effort for them to put on those shows a week. So Lindsey was then wanted to add a couple solo shows in between. You know, okay, I'll do, like, let's say I'll do the Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday of you guys. Maybe on the Friday and Saturday I can do a couple solo gigs. Which was, you know, fair enough. I think that's a fair compromise. But again, the band weren't allowing it. Lindsey was coming to the band with all these ideas to help himself, really, but they weren't in a massively selfish way. He only wanted to push the tour back by 3 months. At the end of the day, that's not a long period of time. He was asking to add his own solo shows, which wouldn't affect them. Fair enough, it might have tired him out, and by the end of the tour, he might not have been 100% anymore. But that would be at his own consequence, and then they can hold it against him afterwards. That would be my thinking. But anyway, so again, they was just not budging at all again here. So again, Lindsey had lost out on another little argument here. And I think at this point, Lindsey could kind of he was getting the hint that the band were not entirely happy with him. So he sent them emails about, come on guys, let's sort this out. The emails are out there online, I believe. I believe you can read them. I haven't. I probably should have before I started filming this video, but anyway, I didn't. You can see him trying to fix the problem. And the band just were not responding to his emails, which is ridiculous. The contract for the tour was not put down in writing. It was a verbal contract. It's something they had discussed. So I think the band just then decided to get rid of him because of all the problems he was creating. I don't think he was creating problems. I think he was coming up with ideas, things to help himself as well, but being fair to the band at the same time. And the band was so narrow-minded, I think, and so stuck in their way that they decided to get rid of him. But then there's a lot of backstory here. This is a lot of bickering rumours, and, you know, this is just behind-the-scenes stuff. None of this is confirmed here. When the band got brought onto a stage, I think they come on to sing a couple songs and get some sort of award, and make a couple speeches. I forget what it was for. Someone will let me know in the comments, I'm sure. As the band come out on stage, they played the song. Of course, they're going to play a Fleetwood Mac song, because, you know, Fleetwood Mac are walking out on stage. They played Rhiannon, which, of course, very famously from their self-titled album, the first one with Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks. It's a Stevie Nicks song. Lindsey was not happy about this at all, apparently. Now, this is all... you can look at this from many points of view here, because it's still a song he played on. Should he have been annoyed that it wasn't one of his? No, not really. I don't think so. But then again, they didn't really compromise. I think they should have probably done a song that they both sung on, or maybe do a Christine McVie song, as she's been in the band a lot longer than both of them. Fair enough, she didn't make the band what it was, or she didn't make the band hugely to the great extent that Stevie and Lindsey did when they joined the band. But I think some compromise, yes, would have been better. I think Rhiannon would have been a bad choice, just like Dreams was. Or maybe if you'd gone with a straightforward Lindsey song, like Big Love, it would have been a bad choice. So I think a bit somewhere in the middle would have worked perfectly, or do a Christine McVie song. Anyway, so show goes on, blah, blah, blah. Stevie Nicks is doing a speech, and behind her you've got the rest of the band. You've got them all. And you can see, apparently, Lindsey standing there smirking to himself. Just the anger about the song still, the song choice, or whether he just... Them two, again, really clashing behind the scenes, we don't know. So then, backstage, Lindsey has gone off on someone backstage, a producer or something, you know, who picked this song. And the band has overheard... or Stevie's overheard, and then she said, I never want to be on stage with that man again. And I think a lot of people thought, oh, you know, all this, while this all going on behind the scenes, all the rest of the band and whatnot, they're all thinking, oh, Stevie's going to leave. But no, she's asked the band, we want him out, we got to get rid of, I want him gone. And I think a lot of people believe this. I kind of believe it, I think. I've watched quite a few videos online of other people talking about this subject now. And I think I'm in the camp of believing it as well. That Stevie Nicks said to the band, we can get rid of him. We should get rid of him. This is why. And I can get, you know, I can get another couple people in, you know, with well, they did, but I'll get to that. And I think it was a complete power move from Stevie Nicks, and a lot of other people do, if all this is true. So they asked Lindsey to leave. He leaves. He's gone. And then, of course, they add Mike Campbell from the Heartbreakers, Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Of course, Tom Petty, unfortunately, no longer with us. So I'm not surprised he said yes. And then we got Leo Finn from Crowded House also coming back into the band. And a lot of people saw their performance on Ellen only about a month back. What a disaster that was. So first off, I believe they done Gypsy first, which is a Stevie Nicks song, which makes complete sense. You know, Stevie Nicks is there. Yes, do one of her songs. Fantastic. It goes all right. It goes all right. Stevie isn't sounding great anymore. The band, you can tell it's missing a certain pizzazz about it. And that comes in the guitar playing, I think, because Lindsey is one of the most unique guitarists ever. One of the most underrated. He has a certain style about him, which I think only the most talented of guitarists could pick up or copy. So you can tell something's missing, but they do Gypsy and it goes all right. It's fine. And then they move on and they do The Chain, which was a disaster. Without Lindsey Buckingham, you cannot do this song. Number one, you don't have the right singers. The singer, you know, Mike Campbell, and he could not do the vocals. He could not. He could not keep it up. It was appalling. Stevie Nicks was getting her vocals wrong. She was coming in at the wrong time. The guitar was awful. The song did not sound right. It was dry. It just did not work at all. And it's funny, because I recently got the reissue of The Dance on vinyl. Fleetwood Mac live in 1993, I believe it was. I've got a feeling I might be wrong there. And they did a chain on that. How amazing it sounds live on there. With Lindsey, with the guitar, with his vocals. And how poor it was on Ellen. And then Ellen, I'm not an Ellen fan anyway. But she comes back on stage. She's going, oh, amazing, amazing, amazing. And the crowd's all cheering. And then there's some really biased people in the comments on YouTube going, oh, amazing, amazing. And it's... No. It wasn't amazing. There's no doubt. Opinions are opinions. But that weren't amazing. That's a fact. Because we've seen Fleetwood Mac do that song amazingly. Like, really well with Lindsey. And that was nowhere near it. I think that was a very, very harsh move against Lindsey to do one of his songs without him. I think it was a appalling, pathetic, embarrassing move to do a Lindsey song without Lindsey. It's like, I don't think I've ever seen the band do a Stevie song when Stevie's not there. They might do songs that she sings on, but not like, you know, one of her, like they wouldn't do Rhiannon or Dreams without Stevie. So that seemed like a very stupid and pathetic move from them. So then Lindsey has finally decided enough that he's going to sue, because he was entitled to do this tour. All comes down to money at the end of the day. He had all this stuff lined up with them and they just asked him to leave. So where do I stand on it? Personally, at the minute, because there's a lot of this is up in the air. Not all of this has been confirmed. This is a hard topic to talk about, actually. It's a bit of a sensitive one as well, because you can see arguments from both sides of the story. And you can see why fans are taking Fleetwood Mac's side, and you can see why fans are taking Lindsey's side. Personally, this band is all about drama. It's always been about drama. That's what's made them so popular, I think, other than the first two albums, Self-Titled and Rumours, which, of course, set them skyrocketing off. While the music still stayed good, don't get me wrong, and people then went back and listened to the early stuff, you know, Peter Green and whatnot, and that's really good music as well. In fact, some of it is better, I believe. One of the things which makes this band so fascinating and so fun is the drama. And here we've got it again. It's just, this band never leaves drama. And I think this is it for Lindsey. Obviously, he's suing now. I really do think this is it. Which is a real shame, because Lindsey is my favourite member of the core lineup. I think he's fantastic. Yeah, it's it's a shame that the drama has come back and completely ruined them. And yeah, I think this probably will be the end of Fleetwood Mac. Their tour did not do well in America, I believe. It's coming to the UK. And one of the real sad things is as well, there's a whole new generation who are into Fleetwood Mac now. The vinyl resurgence, this old music, this old wave has captivated people again. They've got back into it. And dare I say it, because a few of my friends are like this, you know, I'm just 21 next week. It's a lot of me and my mates are discovering bands like this through movies and whatnot. And Fleetwood Mac took off last year. I believe their greatest hits always seems to stay in the UK charts. But it was like doing better than it has done since it come out. Because they used a Fleetwood Mac song, The Chain, in the very popular Marvel film Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And again, you know, it did sell the band to a lot of younger fans who had not taken the time to listen to them before. They were like, hey, that song's good, because those Guardians soundtracks always do very well, whether you like the films or not. And a lot of people went, that's a good soundtrack. And they went, I really like this song, The Chain, Fleetwood Mac, let's check out some more of their stuff. And they're coming back to the UK, and a couple of my mates have showed interest in going to see them. And I've just said, not without Lindsey. I don't care. I don't want to go if Lindsey's not there. I'd rather go see Lindsey on his own than see that band. So yeah, if you can't tell, I'm more on Lindsey's side, because I feel the drama, the band has always been drama. So I'm going to say I reckon most of this is probably true. And yeah, I just think the band were very embarrassing when I saw them on Ellen, and some of the things they've done since Lindsey's departure, and I just don't think the band works very well at all now. And I hope Lindsey does a lot better for himself now. Well, he won't do better in terms of money, but I hope he gets more respect from people in terms of, I think people will probably check out his solo album a bit more, because his last few solo albums haven't done that well, unfortunately. But I think people probably will check the next one out, hopefully, if he gets it out a bit soon. Hopefully he's working on that now. I really want to see it. I'll be really excited to see it. And yeah, it's a shame. It really is a shame, because that is the end for Fleetwood Mac, in my opinion. They will milk it for every last bit. And another thing was that Lindsey put in the email, you know, the end is, he said, let's try and work this out, as the end is so close, it's in sight. So I think Lindsey saw that the band was going to end soon, but I think the rest of the members of this group are going to milk it for everything it's worth. So I don't think Fleetwood Mac will go away at the minute, because I reckon the rest of them will just generally milk it, and it will become stale and dry. I don't even know if the band's got an album in the works. I would be interested. I know it wouldn't be very good, but well, we can look forward to Lindsey's album, and I hope Lindsey does very well solo from now on. But yeah, Fleetwood Mac, what a shame. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message, and I'll see you guys next time for another video. Bye.